Minoko, what does that mean? He who guards truth with lies.
Exactly what it sounds like.
Guard as in protect? Or guard as in control?
Yes.
Hey everyone, how's it going? Hope you're doing well. Yes, Verso is alive, or what's left of him, and he's right over there. You have been playing with him the entire game. You probably think I'm crazy, but give me a chance. I'm pretty sure I can prove this. He who guards the truth with lies. That comes from the Isle of Visage right before you face, the end boss on the island. So if you haven't finished Act 2 or haven't finished the game, be aware that there are spoilers ahead. We will be discussing endgame content. And this is basically your last chance to bail. If you wish. Although most of you, I'm sure, have figured most everything out by now. There's a ton of content out there on this game. But I don't think I've seen anyone try to explain that Verso is actually alive. So I figured I'd make this video in an attempt to do so. Because there's obviously something different about him. And something more to it than what people think. Basically, which is what the whole game is about. It's a painting full of layers. And as you dig into it, you realize how many more layers there are. And this is one of them. So, what truth? What lie? What is he guarding? What is he protecting? Well, one of the truths he's protecting is the fact that Renoir is the one causing the gamache. He's the one killing these people year after year after year. His lie is that he convinced an entire town that the paintress was the one killing them. Not only convinced them, but convinced them to sponsor an expedition to get rid of her and attack her as an enemy when she is the one protecting them. He obviously knows that she is protecting them, but this won't work in his narrative. His goal, his ultimate goal, is to get his mother and sister out of the painting so Renoir can destroy it and he can cease to exist. He will do everything and anything that he can to make this happen. One of these things that he can do is to prevent the townspeople from learning the truth about the paintress. He was actually a little bit fortunate there because Expedition 60 figured it out. They actually talked to the paintress and went to attack Renoir. And if their information had gotten back to the town in time, the town could have gone after Renoir instead of the paintress. If the town gets rid of Renoir, Renoir leaves the painting, they can all live a happily ever after. This doesn't work for Verso. He has to cease to exist, and he can't cease to exist if his mom is still in the canvas. So that has been his entire goal from the beginning. To get her out. And then later on, it became apparent that he needed to get Mael out of the canvas as well. So that's one truth. That one's easy to prove. So how do we prove that this is the real Verso? Well, we prove this by proving what he is not. And what he is not is painted. To prove that he's not painted, we have to ask a couple of experts.
This is another trick. She's not Alicia. You are not my Verso.
No. Verso's dead.
No. You are his creations, not mine.
You are his creations, not mine. There's a couple of things here to point out. One of them is she believes Renoir painted him and Alicia. Or Mael. It's Mael still at this point. But she recognizes that something's off with Mael. So if you remember, when Alicia enters the canvas, she gets surrounded by Eileen's chroma and then reborn. Eileen recognizes the chroma around Mael. So by the end of the fight, she peels back the chroma and sees her daughter. She says the name Alicia, which triggers Mael's memories. This does not happen with Verso. With Verso, he is completely ignored. But at the beginning of the fight, she talks to both of them. At the end of the fight, she ignores Verso and talks to Alicia. So she doesn't recognize Verso. But also during the fight, if you listen to some of the things that she says while you're trying to parry, I know it's difficult. I didn't catch it either. She tries to explain that she's not crazy. Essentially, she says, I just want to grieve in peace. I want you to leave me alone and let me grieve the way I want to grieve and go away. I'm going to sit in my own little corner here. So that's all she wants. She wants to be left alone in the canvas where she doesn't have to look at Alicia. Because she still blames Alicia somewhat for the fire and for the death of Verso. Verso's okay with this belief. He is okay with her thinking that Renoir painted him. This fits in his narrative. This is what he wants. So he doesn't do anything to change her opinion or to dispel her belief. And in fact, when asked about it, he says Verso is dead. Whenever painted Renoir and Elaine ask him or talk to him about Verso, Verso has said he is dead. He refers to himself in the third person. He says, oh, he died long ago, or you lost your son a long time ago, etc. But then whenever the party members can corner him and talk about family, he always responds the same way. Family is complicated. So to the family, he's dead. And to everybody else, family is complicated. This is a pattern that fits throughout the entire game. So deflection. Wherever he's with, they're right, essentially. And he supports and promotes that belief. So in this case, he promoted, hey, yeah, of course Renoir painted me. I mean, who else would paint me, right? But Eileen is still there. She's not gone. She's just grieving. So she would recognize her painting if she saw it. She recognizes her chroma around Alicia. She does not see this around Verso. She did not paint him at all, period. She didn't. And I don't think she could have, even if she wanted to, because of his depth. His depth of character is simply amazing. It goes way beyond a painted character, right? So if, according to the game, they explain that they were painted with Eileen's memories of them from her perspective. So painted Renoir and painted Alicia are fairly basic to start with. I mean, they can grow and evolve beyond this basic function, or basic, yeah, kind of like a program, basic idea, right? The basic idea being centered around the fire. So when you're making a painting, Elaine was focused on the fire, so their memories are of the fire in the family. So Renoir had a sense of family and the fire destroying that family, and then Alicia had a sense of blame because Eileen still blamed her for the fire. But with Verso is far different. Verso has specific memories that occurred in his childhood while in the painting, something his mother would never know. If you go into Frozen Heart, for example, he talks to Minoko about skiing there on occasion, and you hear other tidbits throughout the thing. You learn more about his life that his mom wouldn't necessarily know, details that his mom wouldn't necessarily know, and his character is so much more in depth. So if you put him next to painted Alicia, and I don't think Alicia would know nearly the amount of details from her childhood as Verso does, for example. So I don't believe his mom painted him at all, and she says so, and she says as much. She didn't paint him. She couldn't have. All right, let's ask Renoir.
Some of Eileen's finest work. I regret that it caused you so much pain. What Eileen did was unfair to you most of all. Please accept that this older family's apologies. I know it seems absurd to offer oblivion as recompense, but perhaps that's the outcome we both desire.
Some of Eileen's finest work. Alright, let's take the Dissandra name out of it for a second. Renoir is an expert in his field. Maybe not at the level of Eileen, but he's still an expert, and he's still very much an accomplished painter. He's like an appraiser. He would recognize the real thing from the fake thing, right? In his mind, Verso is an exact copy of Verso. If you took this copy and put him next to the real Verso, there wouldn't be any difference between the two. And he attributes that to his wife's amazing ability to repaint characters. But as we just saw, she didn't paint him, and I don't think she could have painted him to this kind of a depth based on what she didn't know from his past. She couldn't know from his past. Renoir, when he repaints the family, he repaints them as parables and he calls them axions. Verso's parable is Visage, the one who wears a mask, who guards the truth with lies. So he wouldn't have bothered to paint this Verso, and in fact, he even apologizes for it. So we know Renoir did not paint him. So if Renoir did not paint him and Aline didn't paint him, none of the other Dissandras could paint him. Clea maybe has the talent for it, but she wouldn't bother. She wouldn't do that. And of course, Maëlle, or Alicia, was stuck in a painting since Monolith 49. She wouldn't have painted him. She didn't paint him. She didn't have the talent for it yet. Not that she wouldn't in the future. So, none of the ones capable of painting him did paint him. So he's not painted. If you wish further proof, we can jump to the end of the game and observe the ending.
Verso.
I'm sorry.
This is the space between the canvas and the real world. The white room, if you will, from the Matrix, although I don't care for the Matrix references to this particular game as an explanation because they're completely different things. But this is the space in between. No chroma can survive here. No painted individual or being can survive here. They would immediately gomage within seconds. Verso jumps into this space and stays here for quite some time. Again, I believe this proves that he's not painted.
You're tired of painting, aren't you? I'm tired too.
That's...
He says he's tired. The petals appear. The petals, I believe, are what's left of the chroma that surrounds him at this point in
I
time.
shouldn't be able to be here.
Maëlle realizes
Gift.
see, he deflects again with Maman's gift. But Maman didn't paint him.
Why did you run in? It's dangerous for you here.
Maëlle knows it's dangerous for him here.
See things as they are,
Realizes there's an issue but doesn't pursue
not how
it.
you want them to be.
What?
That line, see things as they are, is when the petals end.
To your father.
That
No.
is the real Verso.
You saw it,
What's left of him.
but he wanted to believe. You're going to die here.
leave, Papa will erase this canvas.
This is not worth your life.
Life.
He has spent the last 67
Of
years
loneliness
trying
in
to
a
get his
shell of
mother
a
out of the
body.
canvas, and
With
now
no
he's
voice,
hearing
no
the same
future.
argument
No matter
from
where you are,
Alicia.
you don't need this canvas.
Everything I want is here. Here I have a chance to live. Verso to live. Out there I merely exist.
Life keeps forcing cruel choices.
Stop quoting, Papa.
Quoting. He was living it. So remember, Mael's only 16 years old. She hasn't experienced life, and she had a horrible start. But this is all that she knows of life at this point in time. Verso and Renoir know otherwise. They know if she stays here, she's not going to leave. And the last thing he wants to be is trapped again for another 60 years to try to get his sister out. He does not want to repeat this cycle.
Papa also said, hold on to each other.
And about Dark Infinite specifically.
I'm sorry.
This is his only option. He's forced to fight yet again. Because he doesn't want to live through it again. He simply does not. I chose the Verso ending because it fits with the narrative that I'm trying to portray, which is that a painted individual cannot survive here. But if you choose the Mael ending, it's similar. Verso gamages, and his petals go straight back into the canvas. So he is tied to the canvas, just like his piece of soul is before. I do like the machine gun though, but that's not the point. I just wanted to get the fight over with as soon as possible. Now, when Mael gamages, her petals don't go back to the canvas. She leaves the canvas. This proves that Verso cannot leave. He is stuck forever. He can't die. He can't leave.
Don't do this. Don't leave me again.
It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay, huh? You've got this incredible power to paint. You'll never have to suffer a life you don't want. You're okay. You're okay. You're okay.
You're okay. In other words, Verso cannot exist outside the canvas at all. Once Mael gamages, the others realize what's going on. Mael's behind, still back in the canvas. Minoko and Esquier know they're going to gamage in this space, but they have to say goodbye to their friend.
Miss you guys.
I've been with them from the beginning, and they knew they were going to gamage. CL also figures it out. She figures out that Verso isn't who he says he is. To prove this, she jumps into the canvas. Since Verso survived, she thought, well, if I jump in, I'll survive. Unless Verso isn't who he says he is. I believe she also does this to control her own fate. This is how she wants to go out. She doesn't want to sit and wait to go. She wants to go out on her own terms. Again, within seconds, she starts to come off. Everything's red. The chrome is red. Verso is white. Just a little side note. Lune also realizes what's going on, but also realizes she can't do anything. She can't enter the space. She can't attack. She can't jump anywhere. She just basically sits down in a huff and decides, this is it. I can't do anything about it.
It's okay.
Lune is the last human alive. I think Verso's creations are still there, but Lune is basically the last one alive
Us.
at this point. So, assuming I'm right, now the question is why? Why did he get to this state of mind? Why does he want to cease to exist? How did he become trapped? And why is he connected to the canvas? I have a pretty good idea how he got connected to the canvas, and I think it has to do with the fire. Now, keep in mind that the name Verso, if you look it up in the definition, specifically means the reverse of something, such as a coin or painting. So the reverse of the painting. I feel is significant, and they even tell you right there in his name. He's not painted. He can't be. But why is he in this state of mind? Why is he depressed? Why is he willing to cease to exist? Unfortunately, we don't know too much about the fire. But what we do know comes from Alicia and her memories when she wakes back up on Monolith 49. Quick side note, this is the same similar scene to the Gestural in the Gestural Village, who was also on fire. I think these two scenes are related. The internet has treated this like a meme, but I think there's more. I think it's deeper than that. I think it's very similar to what's going on here. I could be wrong. This is a bit of a stretch, I admit.
You're okay.
There's the "you're okay" again. This is how Mael or Alicia remembers the fire. So we're forced to recreate the events from this. We know that Mael is or Alicia is damaged beyond repair to the face and the throat and this and whatnot. So here's what I think happened. The fire starts. Alicia is trapped, or somehow gets caught, or basically ends up burning. She's on fire. Verso realizes she's on fire and jumps in, rushes into the fire himself, grabs her and pushes her out, or shoves her out, or carries her out, one way or the other, gets her out of the fire. But in the process, he starts on fire as well, and possibly becomes trapped by debris or something. So he's trapped on fire with no way out. So he does the one thing he can do. He runs to the canvas and jumps in the canvas. We know what happens when you jump into the canvas. Your body is left behind. We know there's a physical connection between the body, the canvas, and the consciousness because of the painted around their eyes. If you stay in there too long, you're in danger, right? The painting is starting to spread around your face. So, when Verso jumps into the canvas, while his body is being consumed by the fire, it severs that connection with the canvas. This could be strong enough to cause the fracture of Lumiere. The other possibility is that when Eileen jumps into the canvas and Renoir realizes that she's not coming back out, he jumps in after her, attacks the town with the intent of killing everybody in the town to take away Eileen's power. This causes the fracture of the town, and we're stuck in the cycle that we know of today. Whether or not the fire caused the fracture, I don't know. It's probably more likely that Renoir caused it, but this is a mere possibility. Either way, Verso is now stuck in a canvas because his body's consumed. He can't leave. He can't do anything. He can't even die because the canvas won't let him. So his consciousness is now attached to the canvas like the little boy. So now both parts of his soul is attached to the canvas. And after 67 years of fighting his family and trying to get him out of the canvas because he doesn't want a fake life for them, because he's forced to live a fake life that he doesn't want. That's why it's so dire for him in Mael's ending. Because he lives this fake life, and he does not want that for his family. If he were to let his family know that he is the real Verso, and what's left of him, they wouldn't destroy the capital, forcing him to live the fake life forever. So he's willing to sacrifice his creation to prevent them from returning to the canvas and for him to cease to exist as his life is as it is now. I think this is the main draw as to why he wants to cease to exist. Just being a mere painting and affecting, the people around him would not get him to this level of depression or this state of mind. I think there's something more to it to that, and that more to it is that he is trapped with no way out. Not even death. Not even old age. He can't grow old. He can't die. He can't separate his consciousness from the canvas. He is trapped, and he doesn't want to live that life because he knows it's a fake life. The only person who doesn't know it's a fake life is Alicia, but she hasn't lived long enough to realize the difference. Not to say that the people in the painting aren't alive. They absolutely are sentient beings, but they're still essentially living a fake life. And in a fake life, you can't get a decent meal, right? So, this is what I think happened. That's why I think he is the way he is, and that he is not painted. All right, I hope you all enjoyed that. Again, I could be wrong, but I don't think so. I think this is deliberately set up this way. That would be because of the way he is the whole game. If you go back and play Act 2 to Act 3 and you see his interactions with people, you know something's not right. You know he's sad. You can just feel the sadness coming from him and the despair. Despair, that's a better word. All right, everyone. Thank you for that. Take care of yourselves. Until next time.